I told you the subject today is Christianity and Islam, a stratagem for our division. Now that's some deep stuff, because we need to look at this closely. Abraham, according to what's been put into our heads by them. When I say them, y'all know who I'm talking about? In fact, let me just drop something on y'all right quick. Let me show you how powerful these devils are. I'm talking about the devils who created these lies. The stratagem is actually stated in their own minutes, held in meetings by them.
Family, when you look at the history of black folks all over the world, you'll notice one thing is common. During the days of slavery and colonialism, the white supremacists used religion to manipulate black folks all over the world. They used religion as a tool to lie to us, to make us feel inferior, to make them our bosses. You know, they use religion in a very, very manipulative way. And guys, that is what exactly we want to talk about today in today's video. We want to talk about how religion has been used against us as a people. To speak to us today is Dr. Ray Huggins, and in today's topic, he titled it Christianity and Islam, a Stratagem for Our Division. He explores the idea that these two dominant religions have historically been used as tools for control, colonization, and division among people of African descent. His argument is rooted in historical and socio-political analysis, focusing on how religious institutions have played a role in shaping power dynamics. So fam, I want you to watch this video of Dr. Ray Huggins talk about this topic. Once it's done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this together, family.
The subject for today, brothers and sisters, is entitled Christianity and Islam, a stratagem for our division. What caused me to revisit this subject is two things, or actually three things. Firstly, I received 5 orders online this week for this subject. And then when I went to fulfill the order, the second part of the reason here is the audio tape had such poor quality to it that I felt I needed to redo this particular subject. But the third part of it is I have some more information to add to what I previously said. Now, before going any further, at the outset, let me establish that my intention in this message is not, I repeat, it is not to downplay, bash, invalidate Christianity or Islam or even Judaism. I will talk about that as well. But my purpose is hopefully to get you to understand that these are philosophies. These are religious paradigms. These are control mechanisms that have been given to us by an evil entity, a heartless entity, an entity that does not even care about human development. And they, from the same sinister mind, wrote the precepts of what we know as Christianity. They wrote the precepts of what we know as Islam. They wrote the precepts of what we know as Judaism. The purpose of their writing this was to create a platform or a strategy to keep the adherents to each of these belief systems apart from each other. Christianity and Islam, though closely related in some aspects, are quite different from each other. And the major difference that we as black folk have appropriated, the differences that we have digested, are called theological differences. It has caused quite a stir between religious leaders and their followers. The faith of what is known as Muslims is based on the works of accomplishing something called the 5 pillars of Islam. The 5 pillars of Islam are the foundation of Muslim life. And there's nothing wrong with these 5 pillars. The first of the 5 pillars is faith or belief in the oneness of God. The Jews or Judaism claims it this way: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. The first of the 5 pillars of Islam would tell you that God has no son. That God has no partners that works with him. For God is self-sufficient, self-reliant in and of him or herself. The truth of the matter is that teaching did not just come into existence with the Arab people. For the idea of the Almighty being one and self-sufficient and all-powerful and omnipotent and omniscient is something that Africans have believed for well over 85,000 years. Where Christians and Muslims have a theological problem is in something called the finality of God's prophet.
That's right.
For the Muslims believe that Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet. The second of the 5 pillars of Islam is the establishment of daily prayers. For they teach that you should pray 5 times a day, facing what they call Mecca. I talked to one Muslim brother and I asked him, why do y'all face toward Mecca? And he told me because it was the holy city of Islam. So I challenged him, well then why do Muslims on the east side of Mecca face with their back toward Mecca? Because Mecca is behind them. All Muslims face east when they pray. So I had to help them understand it ain't really about Mecca. Mecca is east for Africans and Muslims here in America. But we face east because that is the place of the rising sun. The third pillar of Islam is something called concern for and alms giving to the needy. Muslims are very serious about sharing their substance with the needy. The fourth pillar of Islam is something called self-purification through fasting, especially during the month of Ramadan. I have to give them credit, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know of a philosophy or a belief system that stresses as much importance about keeping your body in proper nutrition or in shape or keeping it healthy as does Islam. The difference there with Christianity is Christianity believes that Paul did away with the need for purifying the body. Because Paul, supposedly, this fictitious character, I'll explain some more about that as we get into the lecture, but Paul says it doesn't matter what you eat. Just eat it and pray over it, and the prayer will sanctify the pus in the pork. The prayer will sanctify the parasites in meats that we have no business eating. And the Christianized mind that suffers from all kind of diseases because you were told that by his stripes you were healed. Y'all following me here? Are dying from all kind of unnecessary illnesses because Christianity does not stress the level of self-purification through fasting. Now they do stress fasting, but that's for power. Not for self-purification, but so that you might have more power. So, folk fast till they almost get skinny, looking for a power that has not yet come, because fasting does not make you intelligent. You can fast for a month and be just as ignorant as you were before you began. The fifth pillar of Islam is something called the pilgrimage or the Hajj to Mecca, which Muslims say every Muslim should try to do that at least once in their lifetime. In other words, the 5 pillars of Islam says that God will be pleased with me if I live my life in a certain way. Christianity, on the other hand, says that it does not matter how you live your life. Now, they'll tell you, no, we don't say that. Yes, you do. Because Christianity teaches that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. Y'all don't have to take my word for it. I ain't lying to you. Turn in your Bibles to Romans and you'll see it for yourself. Now, mind you, what I just said, the so-called Jesus of the Bible never said such a thing. Romans 3:20. It says, therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin. Ain't that deep? So it lets you know, and then of course if you turn over to the 4th chapter, he talks about this more, about Abraham being justified by faith. And then in the 5th chapter, the 1st verse, Christianity teaches, therefore being justified by faith. Now those of you who were raised Christianized, you might have heard somewhere in your upbringing that the word justified means just as if I'd never sinned. Did anybody ever hear that before? Justified means just as if I'd never sinned. And Christianity teaches that this takes place in the believer's life the moment they put their faith in Jesus Christ. It's important, brothers and sisters, to understand that the language and culture, what did I just say? The language and culture of Islam is Arabic. Now follow what I'm about to say to you. Most Arabs are Muslim. You need to understand that most people belong to the religion of their geographical location. Understand this. In other words, people born in Japan aren't Muslims. They're not Christians because the religion, the cultural religion of that geographical area is Buddhism. People born in India are Hindus by and large because of the culture of that geographical area. People born in America or in Great Britain are Christians because that is the geographical cultural religion of the white man. Y'all following what I'm saying? Most Arabs are Muslim, but most Muslims are not Arabs. Follow that. Let me do that again. Most Arabs are Muslim. But most Muslims are not Arabs. You have more black Africans who are Muslims than there are Arabs in the world. Come on now. It is believed, follow what I'm saying. It is believed. What did I just say? Now you know what that means? That means that somebody put that in your head. Follow what I'm saying. It is believed that Arabs came from the line of a person called Ishmael. That's right. All Arabs will tell you that their genealogy traces back to somebody called Ishmael, who was the son, supposedly, of Ibrahim, or what we traditionally know as Abraham. Ishmael, according to what they put in our head, is the 14-year-older brother of somebody called Isaac, who is the not the son of Abraham or Ibrahim. Y'all with me so far? I told you the subject today is Christianity and Islam, a stratagem for our division. Now that's some deep stuff, because we need to look at this closely. Abraham, according to what's been put into our heads by them. When I say them, y'all know who I'm talking about? In fact, let me just drop something on y'all right quick. Let me show you how powerful these devils are. I'm talking about the devils who created these lies. The stratagem is actually stated in their own minutes, held in meetings by them. Everybody say this: the protocols of Zion. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to read. Bear with me in my reading. I don't like to read to y'all, but this is the minutes from their meeting. Let me tell you what they said. Now, you don't have to take my word for this. Write it down. Protocols of Zion. Go to google.com on the internet, type in Protocols of Zion, and these protocols will come up. I'm going to tell you what protocol and what section to read so you can see it for yourself. The Protocols of Zion. Protocol number 5. Section 5. Here's what it says. These are their words. For a time, perhaps, we might be successfully dealt with by a coalition of the Goyim, Goyim, of all the world. Now, so that you'll understand, the word Goyim in the Hebrew language translates into the English word Gentiles or cattle. So what it's saying here is we see the masses of the world as cattle or Gentiles. It goes on to say, but from this danger, follow this y'all, but from this danger we are secured by the discord existing among them. Who sowed the discord? They did. We are secured by the discord existing among them, whose roots are so deeply seated that they can never now be plucked up. We have set one against another. The personal and national reckonings of the Goyim, religious and race hatreds, which we have fostered into a huge growth in the course of the past 20 centuries. 20 centuries is how many years? 2,000 years. They're telling you in their own notes that over the last 2,000 years, we have sown discord among the masses by putting different beliefs in place. Christianity and Islam, a stratagem for our division. Protocol number 9, section number 10. Write it down. You don't have to take my word for it. Here's what it says. Now this is deep stuff. No, they actually tell you. Here's what it says. We have fooled, bemused, and corrupted the youth of the Goyim by rearing them in principles and theories which are known to us to be false. They put it in their own minutes. Protocol number 14, section number 1, it goes on to say, we must therefore sweep away all other forms of belief. and this gives birth to the atheists whom we see today, it will not, being only a transitional stage, interfere with our views, check this out now, but will serve as a warning for those generations which will hearken to our preaching of the religion of Moses, that by its stable and thoroughly elaborated system has brought all the peoples of the world into subjection to us. Y'all hearing this? Protocol number 14, section number 4. Now this is deep, people. Here's what it says. Our philosophers will discuss all the shortcomings of the various beliefs, Christianity, Islam, of the various beliefs of the Goyim, but no one will ever bring under discussion our faith from its true point of view, since this will be fully learned by none save ours, who will never dare to betray its secrets. They're telling you right here that the secrets of their program have been put in place to keep us divided. Protocol number 14, section 5. It says, in countries known as progressive and enlightened, we have created a senseless, filthy, abominable literature. I can hold up the Torah and I can hold up the Quran as well, because they all wrote all of it. It goes on to say in Protocol 14, section 5, our wise men, check this out now, trained to become leaders of the Goyim, will compose speeches, projects, memoirs, articles, which will be used by us to influence the minds of the Goyim, directing them towards such understanding and forms of knowledge as have been determined by us. Y'all don't get no plainer than this. Again, don't take my word. Read it for yourself. Please pull it up and read it. That was protocol number 14, section 5.
Family, the easiest way to manipulate a human being is through religion. Fam, human beings are so spiritual. Even those pagans, I'm aware they have the knowledge and know-how that there is a spiritual being who's more superior. Everybody is so spiritual in one or the other. So the white supremacist thought of a way that he could manipulate the black folk. He thought of a way that he would take control of these people. The first thing that came to his mind was religion, and they just made any other thing they wanted to do easier, by lying to black folks through religion. And in today's video, just like you've seen, Dr. Ray Huggins has spoken about the same thing and how it has been affecting black communities all over the world. He says that Christianity and Islam has been used as strategy for our division as the black community. Family, when these people came to Africa during the days of colonialism, they came and lied to us that we've been doing wrong before the Lord. It's time that we are punished. This punishment will be in a form of you being under us. This will be a form of punishment. Once the punishment is done, you'll be reimbursed. God will just return you to your original position. And that lie just sticks with us. And we agreed to the lie that the white supremacists used to manipulate us. Family, you notice throughout the history of black folks, rarely do you see a depiction that clearly is said of black people in the Bible. Many times the white supremacists try and challenge that. That's why you see depictions of a white Jesus. These are some of the ways that now they started manipulation. If you imagine Jesus being a white man, you'll already fear them. You know that these people are superior than you black folk. So when they preach about God, when they preach about Jesus, you already know that this person looks like them. So you have no say. You are an inferior man. And these are the strategies that they've been using over the years. So far, I went further to do research about Dr. Ray Hagin's topic on Christianity and Islam as a strategy for our division. And here's what I found out. Here are some key insights from this perspective. Number one, religion as a tool of division. Haggins argues that Christianity and Islam, rather than uniting people, have been strategically used to divide communities. He points out the colonial powers and ruling elites have historically leveraged religious differences to create conflicts, making it easier to control and exploit population. Family, they are looking for ways, that colonial powers and ruling elites have historically leveraged religious differences to create conflict. When we fight against each other, we are losing it. We are people who should be united. Then number two, we have the European colonial influence and Christianity. He emphasizes how Christianity was used during European colonization of Africa and the transatlantic slave trade. They used Christianity. They lied to black folks. Missionary efforts backed by colonial governments aimed to replace indigenous spiritual systems with Christianity. This shift, he suggests, caused Africans to internalize a foreign worldview that promoted obedience to colonial rule rather than self-determination. They wanted for them to be obeyed. They wanted for black folks to do whatever they were ordered to do. They thought that Christianity would be the easiest way for them to manipulate us, and that actually worked. Then number three is the Islam's role in the African context. Haggins also discusses how Islam played a similar role in different regions of Africa, particularly in the trans-Saharan slave trade and the establishment of Islamic empires. While many African Muslims see Islam as part of their cultural identity, Haggins suggests that it has also been used to suppress indigenous traditions and reinforce foreign control. Religion has been the easiest tool to manipulate people. Number four is the psychological control through religion. He critiques how religious doctrines have encouraged passivity, submission, and dependence on external saviors rather than self-reliance. The idea of waiting for divine intervention rather than actively changing one's condition is a theme he explores as mechanism of control. Number five is the need to reclaim African spirituality. One of his major arguments is that people of African descent must reconnect with their pre-colonial spiritual traditions. He suggests that indigenous African belief systems provided a sense of unity, empowerment, and self-determination, which was disrupted by the introduction of Christianity and Islam. Then number six is religious conflicts as distraction. By keeping African communities engaged in religious debates and conflicts, such as Christian versus Muslim rivalries. This is something that has been happening. Christian versus Muslim rivalries. These have been used, to just keep us engaged, for us to lose the bigger picture. Haggins suggests that the real issues like economic empowerment, political control, and self-sufficiency are ignored. This, he argues, serves the interest of global powers that benefit from a divided Africa. Haggins' lectures challenges people to critically examine the role of religion in their lives and question whether it serves their liberation or their continued oppression. Family, let me know in the comment section down below, what has religion brought in your life? And remember, Dr. Ray Huggins wasn't trying to say that we shouldn't believe, we shouldn't be religious people. His point is we should be able to discern whether the direction you're being given by our spiritual leaders are true or false. That's why he says that we should know whether it serves for our liberation or our continued oppression. His perspective aligns with Pan-Africanist thinkers who emphasize the need for cultural and historical awareness as path toward unity and empowerment. Guys, thank you so much for tuning to watch today's video. I do not take your support for granted. Thank you for taking your time to watch today's video. Kindly like this video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users. And guys, kindly comment down below. Let me know what you think about the video. Last but not least, kindly subscribe to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers. And guys, we cannot do it without your support. Share this video with your friends and family, and let us be able to spread the good news about our history as Black folks and our liberation. Thank you, and see you all in my next episode. Goodbye.